Hey guys, I just would film like a 3 minute video, and a telemarketer called to try to give me this to take out more of this from the bank, and I wanted to throw my phone out the window. So now we're back. Now we are back. Sit down, relax, put in your comments what you're inspired about today. Grab a tea, grab a coffee if you're feeling more intense. All right, so if you've been following, or actually, we're going to continue the Avatar State series. So if you've been following the other videos, an avatar has three individual qualities: an open mind, so you're open to new ideas and new realities. Keyword new realities. Two is enthusiasm, and then so enthusiasm is the ability and the energy that it takes, the fuel that it takes to step into that new reality. And then coherence means that you're literally able to put one foot in front of the other, either in here or with any vehicle that you're using, like your body or business vehicle, community vehicle. You get the idea. And so I'm going, again, as you know, if you've been watching, one of the missions of this YouTube channel is redefining this big word called currency. Um, and a lot of people, when they think of currency, they think of just what the banks have, which is dollars and cents, pesos, euros, pounds, francs. I don't even know if they have francs anymore. I think the French use euros now. Could be wrong. I'm not sure. Love to go to France. Anywho, we're not talking about that, even though it's not mutually exclusive to that. It's just a matter of skipping steps as far as the accumulation of real currency. And so, if you're a business owner, actually, let's take a step back. The definition of currency, not my definition, nature's definition, currency is connectivity plus intentional focus. Any living being that embodies and can act in connectivity, embody and act in intentional focus, energy comes to you. And for a human, for us people, human beings, it comes in the form of currency. And so as a consequence of the embodied state. And so as you go on this journey, maybe as a business owner, you might find that you have a lot of connections with ideas, connections with people, strategies, things like that. However, as you might have noticed, if you're connected to the wrong ideas, people, and strategies, it actually might hinder your ability to focus and to operate and move forward with intention. And so, one of the biggest blockers that people tune into when they're going forward as a business owner, they have connections to things that are actually hindering them and challenging them in a way that isn't productive. And so, one of the biggest ones that I wrote here is past. Connecting to your past incoherently, unconsciously, literally takes your mind and blocks out half of the energy. So if you watch the previous video about ontology, you're cutting off half of your ontology, half of your belief systems. It's like you're literally paying tax and currency to something that doesn't necessarily exist anymore. And so stop doing that. You're not helping yourself or the people around you that you're serving. Another blocker that people are connected to is people. So as you go forward, you're going to find that there are people who are still operating there, and you're wanting to increase the amount of clarity and open-mindedness. And these people aren't in that embodied state, they're in this embodied state. So you need to first focus on clearing your mind. And if you're watching this, Ananda, that's when people come to your place if they have trouble doing so. And you, Luis, if you're watching this, thank you, love you, brother. Where they come in, clear their mind. And that could be through diet, that could be through meditation, reflection, contemplation, journaling, things like that. If you get a therapist, just make sure that your therapist actually acknowledges that action is what you need, and not to just talk about things. Taking act, especially as a business owner, it's very important to take action so you can stay in this enthusiastic and coherent state. You don't want to be in this endless state of processing, but that's not the scope of this video. We're not going to talk about that. Maybe I'll do another video about processing and feeling. And so a third challenge to connectivity is this big thing called will. Your willingness to connect with new ideas and prune. So let's put something here like as so prune. So the 3 P's are past, people, and prune. And so the willingness to prune people in your past is your bridge into intentional focus. And so you pruned people past maybe some ideas, and now you're in a very intentional and focused state. Your next step is to do these 3 things in this order. So you're going to do a win. So your win is you set a dedicated time for this intentional focus. Even if you have an idea of what you think you need, you still might be here. So don't think too much about this. Just set an intentional time, like, hey, at 7 a.m. or 10 a.m., wherever you wake up. If you're a coffee person, you probably want to wake up at 10. If you drink tea, you probably wake up at 4:30 in the morning or something. I've met you guys. Y'all are fun. So you pick a time. And so intentional focus time, so that's your win. So that's step 1. Do that. Step 2 is you want to do a what question. So what ideas am I taking with me at this time? And you want to pick something that's connected to your enthusiasm or your why. And so say you're a business owner and you facilitate mindfulness experiences. And so that is your why. You want to give people an open mind. You want to help people energetically cleanse and through the vehicle of the mind. And so that's your why. And so now that you have your why and you connect it to your enthusiasm and you connect it to your open-mindedness, then what will naturally happen because you cleared it through this thing called mental osmosis, ideas will start to flow to you. And this is the fun part. As thoughts or energy flows into your mind, you get to choose which ones you participate in. You get to intentionally focus on which one you want to participate in. So you acknowledge the thought, and then one comes, and it's like an amazing idea. You get the idea, and you feel it just fill you with enthusiasm. Pick that one. You didn't really pick it; your body picked it for you, but that's okay. You picked it. We'll just say you picked it. And so that's your what. So you got your star idea. That's your what I like to call the full body yes experience. Full body yes. And so you picked a time, you experienced your full body yes, what moment. Then you're going to ask the question of who. So say you're this business owner and you're a mindfulness practitioner, or maybe you say you're a retreat center facilitator. I talk to a lot of retreat center facilitators, and a common one is they involve a lot of people with their with that movement forward. And so what you want to do is, once you articulate your who, once you get into that state of mind of what is needed to embody that full body yes, either with yourself or with a group of people, you just simply write, take a mental note and write their name and reach out to that person. If it's not another person and you need to go into what's called planning with yourself to communicate those ideas because you haven't formulated the idea enough yet here, you go into your planning. And then when you go into your planning, you simply show up with the plan of whatever it is you do. So let's go through a live example. So you're a retreat center facilitator, and you have, I'm going to use an example from, you know who you are. So let's say you have 10 rooms that you want to fill as a retreat center facilitator. The first thing that you would do is clear your mind. Don't think about the past. Don't think about the people. And then be willing to prune anything that doesn't give you a full body yes. And you'll know it when it happens. It won't be like a mystery. It'll be pretty obvious. So you got your full body yes. You got a full body yes. I'm going to just use a star to signify and symbolize a full body yes. So your full body yes attached to what's going to fill those 10 rooms. Once you have that experience, you then go back and say, and at what time and in what places and with whom am I going to go forward in filling these rooms attached to whatever the full body yes idea was. And you give yourself no more, I would actually say 2 to 3 days, so 48 to 72 hours to crystallize. And if you watch the last video, we use that same word, crystallize. To crystallize or manifest or bring into reality these ideas, if you don't at least get something that someone else could see within this time period, in my experience, it just goes away. Like it gets out of your mind. So strike while the iron's hot. When you get that full body yes, just imagine a hot iron rod that is ready to strike. It's going to be not hot, and it's going to be a cold iron after around 3 days. So that's your strike window for your ideas. So let's recap. So you just crystallized an idea about how to get 10 rooms filled with your retreat center. How you did that is you acted within 2 to 3 days. You acknowledged your full body yes experience and feeling. You have a amazing plan to get 10 people into your room. You know who you're going to do it with, and you know their name. And ideally, they have a place in this plan. You're able to inspire and communicate that full body yes to this person in a way that makes sense. So they're not like, what are you saying? So if they're saying this while you're saying your what, you know, just connect to this, connect to this. Then you pick a dedicated time to do the thing with the person, and then having this, and this while you're in the state, at the place and the time, and you embody intentional are you guys getting this? You're embodying intentional focus and connecting with that person, and you're pruning with your will any person or ideas in the past that don't facilitate this. Congratulations, you entered the fucking avatar state, bro. Congratulations. Put your eureka in the comments. Peace out.